Who? Us? Waste time? Not today. There's too much to get through, listeners. We've got bare bones to uncover. We've got a whole inbox to check. And, considering not giving anything away, what episode we're talking about, I might have possibly the biggest man's best friend splain ever to drop. It might come up organically, or I might have to point it out. All that and more to look forward to. Stick around. Now, Martin.
Yes, Brendan.
I had a question. You know how this is the Hammer Barn Project podcast in which we talk about everything of and pertaining to the Australian children's television program Bluey?
Yes.
And you know how the other week we reviewed the or barked down, if you will. Nobody will. The space episode, which if it isn't your favorite, it's definitely top tier. Yeah. I know you wanted to do that for quite a while.
I have no idea where this is going.
And you know how we finally did it, and you got to do it and everything. Did that feel like? Was it cathartic? Was it like?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
it was good
yeah.
In a sort of way, like if
I feel like I've
in that
left
episode
some trauma behind. Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And was it cathartic in the way like if there was a big preamble beforehand before you got to do it, that would have been like suboptimal. Yeah. Okay, interesting. In a totally unrelated note, Frank, how are you? Whoa! Before even the intro.
As soon as I realized what you were doing, it had to be done.
Josh, save us from this.
This episode of the Hammer Barn Project is called the ConnectorPen CorrectorMen.
We're here, Frank. How actually are you?
I'm 3 minutes behind schedule.
Oh, sorry. Speaking of the schedule,
this episode of Blue is called Rug Island.
Yeah, it is. You've been itching for this one for a while, man.
Much like Marty was very much. Can we do space?
Yeah.
Every time there was a bit of a pause about what episode should we do next, I was like, how about Rug Island?
How about
Rug Island? Rug Island is one of my favorites. Let's do that.
Okay.
Season 2, episode 10. Didn't have to look that up. I just know it.
I wasn't lying. We got a lot to do. We got a lot to discuss. But first, Marty, it's not getting old that you're still in Adelaide. It's not. That's not getting old for me. That's excellent. How's it going, my dude?
It's really good. I really enjoy it. There are a couple of things I do have to tell you about that are really nice about yes, I am truly back. I got keys to my parents' house. I was like, oh, you're back. You might as well have your old keys back.
Nice.
And the keychain that they gave them to me on is a 5AD golden key club. Easy listening 5AD, FM 102.3.
Wow. FM 102.3.
It's the gold key club keychain. So basically what it has is it says on the back, it found return to 5AD. And it's got a code number on there. So you don't put your name and address on your keys. You just put this keychain on there. And then 5AD is going to send it back to you.
I wonder if that's still on it.
I do wonder, don't you?
Because
this
is hit 102.
No,
I haven't been here for a while, so I don't know what's happened now.
102.3 is Mix, isn't it?
Mix 102.3.
Yeah.
Whatever. It has not been. The point is that it hasn't been called 5AD in at least a decade and a half. At
correct.
least. And listeners, this is very Adelaide core.
This is so very Adelaide.
That's brilliant.
And the other one was just makes me. I remember when I had to get my Sydney license. And I was just like, I felt pretty much like a traitor. I'm like, that was really the moment where I'm like, I don't live in South Australia anymore. But I've got my Adelaide license.
Let's see it.
And it's perfect because I look like I'm doing 3 to 5 for something.
Oh, yeah. They're the good ones. They're the
best kind.
Yeah. I'm showing Brendan right now.
I would keep walking past that guy if I saw him in the evening on Highway Street.
I would. I totally
I
would.
would walk the other way.
So yeah, I'm feeling very much at home. I'm back.
Nobody can see this, but that's
it. Dr. Robotnik.
I look like Dr.
Yeah.
Last time I'm stuck with that for 10 years because I thought it would be funny.
Right.
I just shaved my head and grew a massive moustache, and I look like Dr. Robotnik.
Dr. Robotnik or somebody in a Red Baron type plane going.
I look like a circus strongman from the 20s. We'll have to put that on Instagram. We'll have to do something. I'll block out the important stuff.
Yes, I feel like I'm at home. I feel like I'm very much here.
It's not getting old. It's great having you, man.
And seeing as you're at home and you're doing things that are familiar to you,
Yes.
Marty, would you care to take us through the bare bones of this episode?
It would be a pleasure. This episode, tones of Lord of the Flies and Peter Pan, hints of Robinson Crusoe and Castaway, but really an unpacking of the concept of the noble savage, represented by Bingo, being, of course, that stock character from Western anthropology, philosophy, and literature, symbolizing an individual uncorrupted by civilization and thus the innate goodness and moral superiority of a primitive people living in harmony with nature. But then, of course, contrasted by Bluey, who represents the cannibalistic savage.
Of course.
Which was, at the time, a literary response to the politics of colonization and territorial consolidation.
Unmistakable.
But then, really, we also have the ultimate symbol, the ultimate icon in this episode, the ConnectorPen. On one hand, showing man's capacity to create culture through mark making, through creating stories, through creating art, and on the other hand, a symbol of ancient people's capacity to make fish.
Fish.
No, of course it isn't any
Spear.
Spear.
Fish.
No, what's this episode really about?
Love it.
So this one is about Blue and Bingo really want to play with Dad, but he can't because he has to work because he's an adult. Mum brings home some new connector pens and they decide to play Rug Island, which is something that they've apparently played before. So they're playing Rug Island and Dad rocks up in this game where they're on the island, and it's basically about what happens. Do you belong on the island as an adult? Do you not? How do you join this culture of kids on the island? And what happens when something else comes into that situation to break that magic circle?
Yeah.
Yeah, you use the word magic, and I like that because to me, this is a magical episode. And I think what sucked me in the very first time I saw it was the music. Right, there's that
really?
lovely, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Brandy, but is it a xylophone or something that's doing that ding, ding, ding? Could be
Could be.
like it's not a piano, but it's very sort of light and ding, 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 ding,
And this is like at the very
yeah,
beginning.
this comes up at the beginning, but it is that thing you hear right at the end when
Yeah.
there's the line, which we'll get there.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and it just had this magical quality to it. Peter Pan, perfect call out for that whole, what it's you don't want to grow up type thing. Before we get too far into it, I'm going to shout out our friends, the two bandits watching Bluey. They reviewed this one relatively recently, and I was like, yes, Rug Island, here we go. They were pretty critical of Bandit, basically accusing him of playing hooky from work, or bunking off, as it might be called in the UK, or chucking a sickie, as we call it here in Australia.
That's right.
Or going AWOL. I'll get into that a little later.
Okay. And I sort of went, I don't agree with that insofar as the establishing shot is like the sun hasn't even come up yet, right? The kids are and they're having their breakfast. It's in the morning. And then at the point when this is again jumping to the end of the episode, at the point where Bandit leaves Rug Island, the sun is only barely hitting the top of...
Still morning, baby.
Still morning. So
and
to
you
me,
can see it rising very slowly. Even in the bit where it looks like a sunset, if you watch it, because, I mean, in their defense, I was a little confused as well. I went, did Bandit go to work or not? But if you look at the signs, you're right. It's all just a condensed morning.
And I sort of get the confusion because there's the montage bit sort of 2/3 of the way through when Bandit's part of Rug Island, and that makes it feel like, montage is typically a long passage of time displayed in... It's maybe half an hour worth of him actually playing with the kids condensed into that montage. And I just think, there's lots of things as a dad that this show inspires you to be and inspires you to do. But to be that dad who goes, nah, I got time. I got 15 minutes before I need to go to work. I can pretend to be a kid for that time. I want to be that dad. And that's a high bar, as we all know. Bandit sets it really high. But that's probably, at its core, that's probably why I love this episode so much. He calls it at the start, nah, I've got to go to work. That's what adults do.
And he's prepared to. And he does, in the end, go to work. Like, he doesn't take the whole day off. So he's set boundaries.
He's even wearing a clip-on tie that is clearly attached to his fur.
I love that tie.
I love the uniform. I love any clothing accessory in this show. Like we already talked about in Chicken Rat, the little skirts, the sock protectors, the shoe protectors. Like he doesn't need them. Any name tag or tie. you're absolutely right, man. And it deserves all the defending it gets, because the more I watch it, the more I think this actually adds to the magic. The fact that it's all a morning, but it feels like so long. That's kind of like what playing with your parents might feel like as a kid. Like it
feels like it lasts
it's only
for
a little.
ages.
It's only a little, and it's like a metaphor for the dad who can give that 15 minutes and how much that must mean to the kids, because it's only a little bit of time, but this is how much it means. Like it feels, it means a whole day's worth of play.
And that,
I guess.
and look, we are skipping to the end here, but that moment where, oh, my ship's come, I have to go.
Yeah.
And Bingo does the thing you would expect of a child in that situation, just going, oh, don't go. Like basically almost guilt tripping him, and Bandit's genuinely torn, just going, well, I can't have two homes. What do I do? And then Bingo, as you said, because it meant so much to her, she comes to the self-realization, goes, no, you can go. I'm just glad you came to visit. And you're like, Bingo, you are wise beyond your 4 years that it's scary.
Yeah. Holy moly.
Does throw into question though what Lucky's dad is doing.
He's clearly kicking. Well, those guys are playing.
Queenslanders, man.
They're just kicking the footy. Sorry, it's a rugby ball, isn't it?
It's rugby,
they still call it a footy though.
Yeah.
But it's like, is he going to work afterwards? Because he hasn't got a tie on.
They call it a footy, but there's not much foot in rugby. Not enough foot in. Sorry, East Coasters. There's not enough foot in rugby to call your football a football.
Now, is it league or union?
This is the least sporty person ever saying this, though. So yeah, and this is why I'm doing this on a podcast and not face to face with any rugby players, because I'm not insane.
Our friend Luke says hello.
Oh, he listens, doesn't he?
So going back right to the top,
Yeah.
the girls' cereal.
Yeah.
Little
Little
bones.
Yeah.
Little dog bones.
Little doggy bones. Little
Love it.
snack food, dog food.
Now, the pens. Who had those as a kid?
Who didn't have those as a kid? I
Well,
pity
actually,
them.
I don't think I did, but everybody at school
Yeah,
did.
well, that's what
You
I
know
mean.
what they are.
That's
they're ConnectorPen.
same
Yeah.
boat.
Yeah,
Same
yeah.
boat as me. I don't think I ever owned any, but I didn't need to with the amount of people at school who did.
Yeah, exactly.
There was and for our international listeners, though, the pens are literally as they're shown in the show. I'm not sure if they're an international brand.
Faber-Castell, surely
So I would
they-
have thought so. but
Yeah, the two bandits.
they were very much a fad when we were growing up. There was a period of which everybody was like building things with those.
Yeah, that's right. They're like Lego for pens.
Mid-90s.
Like,
Yeah.
Early mid-90s.
Yeah, agreed.
And is there a word in design, Marty, for or a concept for
Skeuomorphism? No, I don't know.
You just wanted to get that one.
Stop making up words.
Where something where the limitation is what gives it its fun. Like I could never make a good looking gun or spaceship.
Usually guns, wasn't
or,
it?
Yeah, it was. yeah.
I remember because we were in,
I don't
I was
know
in
how,
late primary school, and it was always just like, it's.
I don't know how
we're
that
doing guns
dates,
again.
but like making spaceships and stuff like that, it was always hard. But why? It seems like I was more drawn to the thing that it was hard. It's like
constraints always make your
Yeah.
designs better.
Yeah.
It's
Like
freedom is
how
not-
funny it is still to type boobies on a calculator. And turn up like
that's
like
not
we can
that's not constraints. That's restraint. Like,
in that Brendan, display some, please. But like we have smartphones now. You can type with them. You can write whatever you want. But still, who doesn't giggle when you type something naughty on a calculator and turn it upside down? No, just me. Moving on.
I like that Bandit's packing his backpack. I felt very seen there because that's what I take to work.
Yeah.
It's not like a suitcase.
Such a
Yeah.
backpack
That's
guy,
good
aren't
point.
you?
And there's a really good. I just noticed in that sequence, there's like a whole. There's the logo on the backpack. There's the little doggy biscuits, and there's one other thing. There's a little. Oh, there's a paw print on the laptop. So just all the little bits of branding.
Yeah.
And the fact that like the one
Yes.
on the backpack's like the sideways dog head.
Yeah.
And
Is
that
it-
just
is it-
feels like a mountain design.
Yeah,
sort
for
of
sure.
style.
I wasn't sure if it
Backpack.
was that or if it was the little Queensland logo again.
Oh, was it? I thought it was
Could have
a
been-
dog head.
yeah.
Could have been. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Could have been a thumb sideways.
But yeah, that backpack appears in multiple episodes. I noticed it was in another.
Yeah.
one. But
You're
that's
more of a
nice. It's just
5AD backpack kind of guy, though, aren't you? like that giveaway 5AD backpack
that I
that you
got
got
from what were those
from the Royal Adelaide show.
Show
I was going to
hands.
say whatever that.
It was a giveaway with the icy cold cans of Coca-Cola.
You're thinking of SAFM with the Black Thunders, yeah?
That's the Black Thunders.
Yes, they said Black Thunders.
One stopped at the end of my street once. It was so exciting.
We're so young.
So-
We're just so
These were
fresh
cars
and
that
new.
just used to drive around and give away like free
Icy
samples
cold
of
cans
things.
of
Yeah.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, that's
I used
it.
to work with a guy who always did that. He used to go, and he used to be on the radio. And he just said, icy cold cans of Coca-Cola. and it made me laugh. I'll have to slap some reverb on that.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Enjoy it while it lasts. Oh,
was
so
such a good
good. So many.
delivery.
And just licking the egg. Now we will lick the
I'm glad they don't actually do it, so the kids look and go,
Yes.
"Don't lick sporting
Very
objects."
good.
Like,
Very good. Yeah. A little thing that was probably discussed.
Yeah.
That was probably discussed in the room.
have them lick the egg, and then someone's like, "No, we can't do that."
They
the
discussed
lawyer
it.
in the room just put their hands up and just went, "No."
They discussed it so as not to disgust us.
Yes.
Should that stay in? What? You can't. That's better.
There's sequences where it's like dad at the brekkie bar with the kids because there's numerous ones in different episodes. He's like getting ready for the day, so that is a little sort of like nook that they're often appearing in. So
Oh, yeah.
I like those moments. They're
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it's a really regular part of the day.
Yeah.
One of the things that's jumped out to me in this episode, in that early sequence, Chili's got the pens and she's expecting the kids to draw with them because
art.
that's what they do.
Yeah.
And they said Rug Island. Yeah, like that's the name of the game. And her reaction wasn't,
I love that.
oh no.
I
It was,
love that.
Yeah, that's
huh? This is one of the few games that Chili doesn't know about, which then got me thinking, well, does Bandit know about it? Chili and Bandit, they're a pretty good team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the first bit before Bandit shows up, my headcanon, it's he's looking out the kitchen window, watching the game, getting an understanding for what they're doing, and then he's looked at his watch and gone,
I got time. I got time for
and
this.
then washes up on the beach and joins
Yeah.
in the play from that. Because,
And in a way, I love that Chili didn't know because there are bits where, Magic Xylophone and like, oh no, like the here we go again moments are great, and it shows this hidden. It's Japanese garden theory again.
Yeah.
You fill in the gaps. You're like, oh, there's something that's got history here. But what I love about that is the kids say it at the same time. Like they see the pens.
Yeah,
they don't
know.
even need, they look straight at each other. Rug Island, they're both in unison. And because Chili didn't know, that's kind of a different kind of special because it fortifies their sisterhood, their relationship there. That there are some things that are outside of the parents. And Chili's so confused, but it kind of makes it their little thing.
they're special to them.
And which is anything like that is also really special in a different way.
And that's, for me, that's a for real life. It even happened today because Naomi was like, oh, I want to do the pink things. And we ran back into the other room and Ali was like, oh, now when she says pink things, she doesn't mean those other things. She means these new ones that we found at the plant yesterday. I'm like, yeah, no, it's okay. We did that 2 days ago and that's why she wants to do it.
Yeah.
So it's this thing of like, she'll have both sides of the story and then we put things progressively together. It's like, she really wanted to do this today. It's like, oh yeah, well, we did that.
That's really impressive,
yeah,
man.
that
And
explains it. That's cool.
and that gives you a bit more of an insight. I think, like from what I can gather, you and Ali, your communication with stuff like that is really cool because you mentioned that in what episode was it that we did where you were doing a Naomi's picks and you said Ali's in on it and found something that Naomi said and just kind of went, oh, and came in and told you that's called this now.
Yeah.
So she updated you on what you needed to know
this is it
because this child, cannot be explained and there's going to be new different things and you need to be aware. Now, Frank, you mentioned the music earlier. I'm ashamed that I didn't pay enough attention to be able to answer your question to the instrumentation. But one vibe that I did get, I don't know if there's any other Beatles fans out there who get like a For No One thing. There's that she wakes up, she breaks up, she finds that all the words of kindness linger on when she no longer needs you.
That's a bit of a too deep a Beatles cut for me, I'm afraid.
It's like it's probably like Paul McCartney based a lot of his stuff on classical music and probably so does Joff. But then there's that little bit with the little bit of the pomp and circumstance march.
Yes.
The,
Yeah, I was gonna shout that out.
Yeah. Oh, what were you going to say?
That was going to be one of my doggy treats.
Oh, sorry, I stole
That's
a
all right.
doggy treat.
No, but that is the bit where
Tastes good, though.
Bluey is crowning Bandit for saying congratulations for no longer being a grown-up.
Yes.
And there's the little typical thing you hear at like graduation ceremonies.
Which is really funny that they use like a traditionally graduation song for when he doesn't have to be a grown up
He
anymore.
reverts,
And he's like just being knighted with this wreath.
I love the wreaths because like
Yes.
we've talked in how funny hats situate things really quickly.
Yeah.
And that's, we have the first shot of them. I think they're collecting fish in the first shot.
Yeah.
Before
She says-
or at least Bluey's collecting fish and Bingo's setting up the shelter or something like that. And it's like, oh, you're forest people. Like, we get it very quickly. Like, this is some sort of traditional civilization that you live within.
Yeah.
And these are, so the head reads really get you there fast.
Yeah. And then going back to the music again, when Bandit shows up, and as you said, Bluey is clearly the cannibal. I'm not. Right, let's eat him. At that point, the music goes a little bit sort of tropical, like
Yes,
like
it does. You're right. You're right. And it's
got some
jungly
sort
sort
of-
of.
Donkey Kong sort of vibes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
because it's got like sort of type sound effects in there.
Do you know
Yeah.
Donkey Kong? It's a Nintendo thing, don't I?
No, I haven't.
We'll show you later.
Good lines from Bluey though. They're like, "It's okay, we're friendly." I'm not. And let's eat him. Yeah. The fact that they get 2 lines out of that is really funny.
Bluey's almost the comedic relief in this episode because a lot of it is the interaction
It's a
between
bingo
Bandit.
dad story,
It's a-
this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And hey, speaking of comedic relief, part of the reason this episode ranks so highly on the Frankometer, TM, is
Paint pending.
Chalk that one up. That's our new sound, by the way, for any time someone says one thing too many times, which is the first time you have said that. So,
That's right.
So that's a funny way to introduce it.
Yeah,
Go on.
I thought it was. Our good friend and neighbour Pat shows up.
Oh, boy.
And what an entrance.
MVP.
Where, from off screen, Bandit is literally, he's discovered the magic of Rug Island. Everything's so peaceful here. I guess I don't have to go anywhere. Why would you go anywhere else? Catch! Boom! Nut shot with the footy. Oh.
You're a sucker for those, aren't you, Frank?
It's physical comedy. Like to Joe's point, you have the the deep and meaningful concepts that we're talking about, the little musical stings, but a good old nut shot will make any 4-year-old laugh, and it made me laugh.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Joe, in case he's listening, I should really clear up a massive man's best friend splain that needs to happen because a while back, let's just say, when I first introduced the man's best friend splain concept, I totally threw you under the bus, Frank, with the whole stripes thing, and I just kind of said, how did that? Was that all right? Like, if I had to do it again, has enough to but
this is my episode, Brendan.
I know. No, it's hugely me as well. See, what we've done is way back, cast your minds back, listeners, to our flat pack episode. I wanted to leave it until after the bare bones because I didn't want to tread on your toes, Marty. But in our flat pack episode, we brought up the idea that flat pack was actually a homage to one of Joe Brum's favorite movies, The Thin Red Line.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really interesting. Now, on me, without fact checking you, Frank, I named the episode. I named that episode The Thin Brown Box because we talked about IKEA. And I'm like, hey, guys, I'm so smart. Oh, man, I'm so smart. Like, IKEA stuff comes in thin brown boxes.
Yeah.
This episode is a shout out to The Thin Red Line, which it totally isn't.
P.S. We should mention that none of us have seen that movie, hence why none of us caught it.
I'm going to say now, I figured that out, but I was just too embarrassed.
So hang on. You're telling me that
this is over. I'm done.
So, hold on. This is brilliant. So if I've got this right, you crafted your bare bones, which often revolves around what movies it's a reference to. You crafted it around not bringing that up.
I didn't realize which episode it was a reference to.
Right. I gotcha.
So that's why I wasn't
gotcha.
entirely sure. But I'm like, I don't think it's a reference to this
Yeah.
one. I would have been thinking it was a different one.
Because
I thought it must have been Army or something.
yeah, this is really funny, and I'm so sorry for it. But like, I should have checked before I named the freaking episode after it. And I was so proud of myself. The Thin Red Line, Thin Brown Box, IKEA, Thin Brown Boxes. This is so good. So huge apology to Joe for misrepresenting his like creative intentions. But so basically, I did go and watch Thin Red Line after that, and it's a brilliant piece of art. Like, it came out the year after Saving Private Ryan, and of course, Saving Private Ryan just won all the Oscars. And so this isn't remembered like that because it's not as so much a war film as it is. It doesn't. It's like not about. You watch it. It's a bit like it's going to need more watches from me because it's very thick and deep. And I watched it without watching Rug Island after we did Flat Pack. I'm like, I don't see how it's related to Flat Pack.
I'm looking for the links here.
Then I found the Gotta Be Done interview with Joe and it's totally like he was talking about both episodes in that thing. So like on memory, like I was like, oh, I can totally see how that kind of got mixed up. But yeah, it's just so much of me wanted to go back and change the name of the past episode. But no, we gotta like, if anybody knows me, if anyone knows me and knows how much I like labels and things to end correctly, they know how much it like.
No, actually, so what has happened is Joe based that other episode on Thin Red Line and just did it really badly. and this is what we're sitting with now.
Can you say that?
That's how much we have to commit to get back on this.
Yeah, the joke is that anything about the Flat Pack episode was done badly. That's the joke. That is, I can't compute that. But yes, this is a lovely episode, which is a big homage to the 1998 movie, The Thin Red Line, and I'm very sorry to everybody.
I think we should name the title of the episode about that.
I'm thinking the fat red face.
The thin pen line, the red pen line.
Yeah, the thick red line through the old title.
Look, on the plus side, that was the second of my doggy treats that you've ruined ahead of time.
Oh no!
So that's cool.
Other doggy treats. Come on.
What was it? No.
That was on my list to talk about.
Pretend I said nothing
for the last 20 minutes.
I'm so sorry, but I thought it was our duty to clear it up.
In fairness to this, I found it on the Bluey Wiki that actually mentions that hey, this was inspired by. And as I was reading, I was
references
like, hang on a second. And actually, you're right. Yeah. It references the Gotta Be Done podcast, little link to their thing, which then got me looking around the Bluey Wiki. We get a few mentions on there ourselves.
Oh, really?
Point out. Okay. Yeah, because people are like, oh, Gotta Be Done's great, and then other people going, hey, Hammerbarn's pretty cool. Here's a link to their stuff. So
wow.
We are now friends with the Bluey Wiki. We're on the Bluey Wiki.
In. It's happened. All right, that's all I need. See you later, guys.
We can just create new truth now. That's great.
Oh, it was about the Thin Red Line. Flat Pack, I mean.
As mentioned on the Hammerbarn project.
Dig up, guys. Dig up.
But look, can we talk about the real star of this episode, please?
There it is. Talk it up.
Going back to my boy Pat.
Yeah.
He basically is Jesus in this. Are we feeling that?
That's another reason why it was possible that you got mixed up, because Flat Pack was a very religious sort of thing.
True.
And Jim Caviezel, who plays Private Wit in The Thin Red Line, also played Jesus in Passion of the Christ. So what were you saying? Sorry, Phil?
You did.
I was just saying Pat uses grown-up magic to walk on water.
I did go deep. Whereas walking on water, don't go deep at all. You're on the top. It's about as shallow as you can get. Top of the water. Good one, Pat.
But like this leads us
just
to
need
like
the ball.
Just need the ball back. So this leads us to the real conflict of the episode where Bandit has sort of been snapped back into reality because Pat wants the ball back. You can see he's really torn on what to do. And there's that moment where Bingo's just staring up at him like waiting for him to do the right thing or the answer that Bingo expects to hear. And I love that because it's, I liken it to, and Marty, we've done this when pushing the kids on the swing. And we do that stupid, whatever it is, super push and the
action scene.
Action scene, yours, right? Yeah. So I develop this thing with Jack, pushing him on the swing. I'm in front, so he's swinging towards me. Yeah. And I would get him at a point where he's get the height right, and then I say, right, action scene. And as he swings toward me, I fake left, ha ha ha, fake right, ha ha ha, and I'm laughing like an evil supervillain, hands on my hips type thing. And he swings, basically kicks me in the nuts, not actually. I'm doubled over, going, oh, that really hurt. He swings back again, kicks me in the head. If I've got a hat on, it's a perfect excuse to flick the hat off. Amazing. Oh, and then I turn around because I'm stunned, and he kicks me in the bum, and he loves it. He absolutely laughs his head off.
He couldn't possibly love it more than I love it right now.
But then and this has developed, it was just us on the playground. Yeah. So the challenge is you then go to a really busy playground. There's other parents, there's other mums and dads there. And I remember going the first time.
You might have to get that thing ready because there's other episodes we could talk about.
I didn't mention any episodes.
No. But if you get it ready for me, then maybe I'll be scared straight. Yeah.
And so there's that real challenge. And Ali basically said to me one day, she goes, "You gonna do it?" Like knowing that there was other parents around.
Oh, amazing!
And I literally, there was that moment where I went, I could easily just chicken out here. Jack hasn't asked for it. It's fine. Yeah. But then I went, what would Bandit do?
Well, yeah.
And so now it's a thing, and Marty has witnessed it a couple of times, and
that's brilliant.
I've had to do it. I am nowhere near as good.
We had to do a duel, didn't we? We had the two kids on the swings next to each other, and then we had to do it like side by side, which took some coordination because if I'm like faking left but Naomi's to my left, I could like avoid Jack and crash straight into Naomi if I didn't do it right.
Yeah, there's logistics involved in this, guys.
Yeah, no, but don't say you're not as good. It's just an octopus thing all over again, man. You just got to find your own groove. There you go. Chloe's dad over here.
Anyway, going back to Pat. We think he's the straight man in this.
Yeah.
But then he's straight. It was like, a snake. He says, let's get it off and he's straight into it.
So fast. Yeah, that's it.
He wants his ball back. He's totally blindsided. And yet he's still just ready. Straight into it. Pat, MVP forever.
And little Lucky just hanging over the fence going, sucked in, Dad.
Yeah.
It doesn't take Lucky back. She's like, "Where's Dad? I want my ball back." And then the moment he sees that his dad's in the thick of it, he's just like, "Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's my dad."
I did actually say in the start of this, I used the phrase magic circle, and you picked up on the word magic, Frank. That actually comes, and this is another place where it really feels like the episode links back to game theory and sort of. There's this concept, and I've even referenced it in one of my pretentious, bare bones.
Are they pretentious? Are they?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they are.
Right,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
Like Johann Huizinga came up with
a name that's come up before.
Yeah, that's the one. It was I've got a couple of ludology, so basically man the player, and one of much argued about ideas is like there's a circle in which a certain set of rules persist.
Sure.
Which is interesting in the fact that the rug is a big circle and it's a circular.
Yeah, right.
He uses the line of like, it's like the world outside doesn't exist, and that's when he gets hit in the nads.
Right.
Okay, sure. So, for me, there's a lot of play between this idea of like coming into this separate space of play, which is also childhood. And then there's one thing that I can't remember what book I read it in, but it's the thing that the worst person to play or be in a situation with when you're playing is not the person who says, yes, but I'm going to steal the egg and take it over here. It's the person just saying, that's a ball.
Yeah.
And, it's the person who breaks the reality.
Yep.
And that's what Bandit is kind of forced to do in that situation of like being,
right.
social. He's kind of going, but just, we have to give them the ball back.
Yeah.
But no, it's an egg. But, in the game, he's pointing out the fact that it's a game.
Yeah.
And this is a game sort of world. And that's where, Bluey really comes in and goes, I told you so. You shouldn't have trusted this guy. Adults can't really be trusted. They don't belong in this Peter Pan world. That sort of thing. Really,
and it's extra crushing because Bluey's a little bit older. It's like, well, what has she learned that Bingo hasn't yet? That means she's wise enough to know, you young, naive thing still thinks that parents can be in on the play. So sad.
Yeah. And this just spins me off into, I was like, thinking about this episode and just, I have real problems with the fact that society has so many weird constructs that we just have to subscribe to.
Yeah.
And for me, a lot of, the pen is obviously a focal point of this episode, but for me, the tie means a lot.
Yeah.
The fact that,
hey.
This is, this weird object that just means working for adults.
It doesn't even serve a purpose, right?
Doesn't serve a purpose for him, or anyone for that matter.
Maybe once upon a time, but come on, that time is long gone.
It's funny because it is symbolic in this episode, and we kind of, like the headpieces or whatever it is, we read time, we're like, oh, he's going to work, and it's like that adult realm of stuff. But yeah, and then just composing even that dialogue between let's, enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah.
Glad I'm a kid.
And all those sorts of things, and that play between those two worlds.
Here I was just laughing at a clip-on tie on a cartoon dog who's not wearing clothes. But trust Bluey to...
Marty's gone to Johan.
There's a whole other level of why it's there to symbolize.
And I think for me that's, when he has to break that magic circle, it's kind of like, well, yes, you become indoctrinated as an adult and you have to kind of subscribe to all these things and you have to go to work because of although so that really rips into me because I'm like, the world is this weird collection of constructs just because of things that have been built over time, and stuff doesn't have to be that way. But people are afraid to change things. So if you do it differently, you're weird.
Exactly.
So all those sorts of things, it just really comes back in this moment because it is playing on that idea of if we went back to a more simple form of life, wouldn't things be better?
Yeah. Is it getting easier as you get older to go, screw that, I'm just going to paddle my own canoe and screw that people think it's weird and that I'm going against these stupid constructs?
Against the grain.
A little bit.
It's getting easier for me, maybe, and I'm very grateful for that. Because
I think it depends what sort of work scenarios you're in.
Specifically in a work scenario, I suppose. I'm just thinking in social life.
It's a bit easier when you're your own boss, driving around in a postie van.
I do have a unique situation.
I mean, do you do that thing where you just go, I'm running a bit late, better call the boss? Hey, Brendan, I'm just going to be 10 minutes late, okay?
Yeah, no worries, mate. Also, have a beer. But it's interesting. I totally get what you're saying, and if I could just quote our old mate Shigeru Miyamoto. I know he's the Nintendo man. I know, Martin, we've already established in this episode that you don't really know a lot about Nintendo.
No.
And you don't have a doctorate in video games or anything like that. But I believe it was he who said, inside all of us is the heart of a child. Just somewhere along the line, we get convinced that we have to act like adults.
Is that the second time you've quoted that?
That is the same quote.
It is. That's the same quote.
Do you know more than one quote?
From Shigeru Miyamoto?
Yeah.
Oh, no. One is all you need when it's that one.
But we have skipped over the fun bits of when he's actually learning about how to live on the island.
Oh, boy.
And that's another nice part of it as well.
Hey, Bluey, look what he can do.
Yeah. Whoosh.
Fire. Grown up.
All those instances, yeah.
Just that's easy. That's a snake. But I like the idea that, he's sort of saying, I'm glad, the kids are saying, I'm glad I don't have to work. And then he's in the childhood realm. He's like, I was just going to sit down and hang out. Like, no, you have to work here.
Yeah.
Oh, ripped off.
But, the work is relatively simplistic, but it's really fun to, have that play in various different ways.
Yeah.
The making the food, the making the fire.
Yeah. I love the peepees doing
yes. There are a lot of callbacks.
Yeah, throwback to the beach. And
there's
I also
a couple
love,
of other ones.
Oh, you go.
Wait, sorry, I've got them here. Sorry, I'm just looking through my notes. Oh, I had them here. Salads. It's a column of salads.
Yep.
Which luckily none of these you have to hit me with something, so that's nice.
Yeah,
It's doing what you cook.
See,
Yeah.
see the benefit of making you wait for ages to do your favorite episode.
I don't have to get hit with a rolled up
Yeah.
yeah. So those ones are the ones. But definitely,
Yeah.
there's a few callbacks.
Other than the callbacks, there's a really nice moment. I don't know. I thought it was nice. It's very when Bandit paddles away
Yeah.
and he gets back to the stairs, and Chili just helps him up off the
yeah,
paddle
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It's kind of like helping him out of the water.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
like
that's true.
she hasn't been privy to any of this game.
I have to
But-
imagine she'd been watching like
Yeah.
from the distance. You just
Yeah.
don't see it, because she goes ahoy there, like she understands.
Yeah,
they're on
exactly.
An island.
Ahoy there, like you got your bag. It's
Yeah,
time to go to
you
work.
should come in. Yeah,
Another
yeah.
clue as to this is all in the morning.
Yeah.
But just to helping her, like she doesn't need to do that. But
Yeah.
it's just another little sign that they're in this together. They're
Yeah.
such a team for the kids. It's just it's nice.
And to your point, that the montage of him learning,
Mhm.
the one that sticks with me is Bingo teaching him how to fish, and he's got a spear.
Yeah. It's-
and Bingo does it, and it's fine. Bandit does it, and it
Spear falls
collapses.
apart.
Yeah,
And he
Still
goes,
learning.
spear. And then Bingo goes, no, and picks up his broken spear and goes, fish. And like, in other words, anything can be anything.
Yeah.
It's your imagination. And there's that moment, Bandit goes, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful. And that ties extremely well back into the money shot right at the end, which, and even leading up to that, because you get that whole, the xylophone or whatever it is,
Yeah.
but then you get the lovely do-do-doos. Now, as someone who's a lifelong Powderfinger fan, I love a good do-do-do in a song.
Yeah,
right?
never goes wrong with a do.
And do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
It's just, and you can see him paddling away. They're at peace with it. What did she give you? I can't even say it.
Yeah. Silence, please.
What did she give you? Everything. Like this. Oh no, that was too happy. But it's just
So
it's
I guess
beautiful.
so
It's
what you-
truly beautiful.
it's beautiful. So you love that last line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess what you're trying to say, Frank, to us and the listeners is how good is the everything?
I thought about how to say that today, and then I saw it in your eyes that it was happening. I'm like, I'm on board. I'm just hitching my wagon to Marty.
I was lying in bed falling asleep last night. I'm
Yeah.
like, it came
It's
to
gonna
me.
happen.
I'm like, oh yeah.
So what was the question again?
What?
How good is
How good is
How good is the everything? Yeah. Yes.
That's how good.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's how good is the everything?
So what is
in pen
everything? What do you think that what do you take it to mean?
Anything it needs to be.
Yeah.
And I'm out. Stupid.
Is that another Miyamoto quote you've got up there?
I wouldn't
And
know.
I'm out.
Wouldn't know. To me, it's that. It's almost a thank you from Bingo to say thanks for playing with us, right? And so that could be a fish, a spear, whatever you want it to be. It could be anything that Bandit imagines it to be, and it's a present really, and that's getting very literal with it, but it symbolizes that creativity. They're taking pens. When you really think about it, they're cool pens that could connect, but they're pens, right? Rug Island, if you look at it, one question I have is what the hell is under that rug? Because there's something that's propping it up and making all these hills and valleys. Chili's probably just going, where's all the toilet paper gone? Like, that sort of thing. But it's that beautiful thing of this can be whatever you need it to be. You helped us. You became, even if it was only for 15, 20 minutes before you went to work, you were not a grown-up.
Yeah.
And that's something that Bingo's going to remember for a long time.
I take it as, she gave me everything in the fact that it's this view of this childhood world, this reconnection as an adult with this view where a pen can be anything.
Yeah.
Or, this ultimate sense of flexibility and freedom and those sorts of things. So, I think it's oft-told tale that, you see the world through your child's eyes and gives you an opportunity to re-experience the world from a place that's maybe slightly less cynical or less weary.
Everything's so simple.
Everything's
here, right?
so I think that's how I sort of take
the
it.
pen
It's
is mightier than the ball.
the giant chocolate egg.
Giant
Giant chocolate egg. Sorry,
or Wilson, but in a
Yeah.
new form. Yeah.
It is probably worth quickly mentioning the parallels between Thin Red Line, which I've seen now, and I mean I won't go into it too far because that would be me trying to sum up Joe Brum's vision of and his correlation. But it is a movie about it's go and see it. It's a very beautiful, textured, philosophical movie, and it paints war and violence and nature in its own real unique way. But the sort of one of the main characters, his arc is he goes AWOL from his unit during World War II. Oh gosh, I hope it's 2 because I've said it now. And he's ends up he ends up on an island, on a Melanesian island, and he kind of is trying to escape things and rediscover things, and he ends up befriending the local natives. And so he kind of learns about a more basic way of life, and then his ship comes and takes him back, and he's been disillusioned with this structured military thing, and it's his arc there. So it's very, you can sort of, that's food for thought.
So, but when do they make the flat pack furniture? I don't understand. Where does that come into it?
Off mic, we're gonna have to reiterate something there, Frank. Look, I can't be angry at you for not listening because I never listen. So, but we'll just have some time alone. And we'll just discuss
we'll talk
that.
it through.
Yeah, we'll talk it through. I think I need to make something clear. Oh no, it's happened again.
Do you understand this? It's important to me that you understand this.
Hoo-wee. How did we go, Frank?
That was
everything. Yeah. Nice. Well, that might have been everything. What an episode. Thank you. Thank you, Bluey. But thank you also to all our listeners who keep sending us emails.
There's lots of them to get through. So
let's
check our inbox. So we've got a couple of repeat offenders here.
Boy, do we.
Emailed us a second time. Our good friend Madison. Apparently, I got her location wrong. I think I kind of assumed that she was in Victoria based on the nature of her email.
Anytime you say lockdown in Australia, you think, probably Melbourne.
Probably Melbourne. It turns out she's from Coffs Harbour, which of course is in New South Wales. So my apologies, Madison. She does mention space. She goes, Marty, I agree with you. This is a wonderful episode.
I am Team Mackenzie as well there, Madison. 100%. I'm more and more. What a guy.
Yeah,
what a dog.
She got a bit scared, like some other people did, that something bad had happened. Well, Mackenzie's mum had abandoned him or something horrific like that in the lead up to the crux of that episode. But she does shout out our discussion about Vegemite toast, and as a local Australian, she understands that perfectly. But I think the bit that impressed us most with Madison's second email here, Brendan, I'm going to let you take this one because you nearly lost the plot.
Madison, you have the ears of a hawk, of a night hawk. I was sure our new segment, Credit Where Credit's Blue, which we'll get to before episode's end, I thought surely I would sneak the Korok sound by everyone for at least one episode. I wanted these guys to notice it, but you noticed it before even they had a chance to tell me that they noticed it.
Can you describe the Korok?
Korok, I mean, they first come on the scene in freaking Wind Waker, don't they? I don't know. That's where I first... Yeah. And maybe more. I'm not.
I just mean for people who don't play video games.
It's from The Legend of Zelda. Before Brendan just gets into a very long and detailed description.
Before
the character background.
No, but basically, I was looking for a fanfare to go da-da-da. This is the person who quote won unquote our Credit Where Credit's Blue. But I just thought I was looking through. Oh, may as well put a Zelda one in there, and they were all a bit obvious and whatnot. And then one that came up when I was, illegally scrolling YouTube for probably not royalty-free sounds. The Korok one came up, and I'm like, hey, Korok's a little, unsung heroes and helper guys, so that kind of works. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of slipped that in there with a trumpet fanfare, and Madison noticed it immediately. You are correct. Breath of the Wild rules the school. I'm so excited for Tears of the Kingdom. Dating this episode again, but Madison, your legendariness, not a word, grows.
One other repeat offender we have here. I shouldn't use the word offender, should I? Repeat. What's
repeats
contributor.
Contributor.
Yeah.
Sure.
Is
Much
that the
nicer
word?
than offender, but I
Yeah.
mean, it is this show, so
Our happy little Vegemite,
happy little Vegemite
Sarah,
from Connecticut.
decided to. She contacted us around Australia Day, basically saying, "I had my own little Australia Day party in her part of the world." Where was she from again, Brendan?
Connecticut, I believe.
Connecticut,
Is that
yep.
right? That's
Yep.
right, I think.
Yes, that's right. Sarah in Connecticut. She had her Vegemite sandwich done with butter, as we specified. She had a pack of Tim Tams, and she had some Bundaberg drinks as well. She's got a lovely photo there of her 2 dogs as well. Husky.
Shout out to the Bundaberg ginger beer, best ginger beer in the
yes,
world.
yes,
Adam
agreed.
Savage from Mythbusters drinks that. I see it on his channel. I have a signed apron by him. I've already
Yeah,
mentioned
press that ding button.
Yeah,
Because we just got past
ding,
Brendan.
chalk that up.
Stuff that Brendan
Stuff
has.
that Brendan
Yeah,
has.
yeah, got it. Sure. I mean, he got past the reference to a place in America without mentioning it.
Yeah,
So,
well, I've already mentioned Connecticut. Everyone
Oh, so
already knows
another one?
Connecticut.
Yeah, okay, cool.
There are like maybe 44 other states that I've been to that I will mention over the course of the podcast in the future.
So if anyone from those other 44 writes in, I'm sorry, your email gets scrapped straight away.
And also, happy little Vegemite. I got so excited last time that you even mentioned Vegemite that I forgot to actually answer the question with recipe ideas. You know, yeah, toast with cheese, butter, cheese, and Tabasco. Little piece of Louisiana, Avery
Yeah.
Island, Louisiana, a place that I've been. Yeah, thank you very much. But yeah, a little bit of that, not too much to your taste, to your tolerance for heat. But Vegemite, cheese, Tabasco. Beautiful. Yes, what else was I going to say to Happy Little Vegemite? I was also going to say, don't worry if you can't get on the Vegemite train too soon. It's one of those things that I
Gotta
love
learn it.
and couldn't live without, but I kind of totally get that people's standoffishness, same as like licorice and things like that. You know, I love it. You don't have to, but I'm a happy little Vegemite, and so are you.
So the next one we've got is from Jenny, who says, you make this 75-year-old
legend.
grandmother
What a legend.
resident in beautiful, I think it must be Brizzy. It says
Yes.
busy here, so in case it's-
but we're assuming Brizzy, which
yeah.
means you've got cred, bluey cred.
She says, even with a hammer barn within walking distance, even with somebody for crook knees.
You make her very happy. Wow.
Yeah, that's right. We make her happy. That's a good. Now she does want to put in a point that in relation
cleared
to
up that she cleared up the
the sauerkraut
yeah, yes.
situation
Yep.
in the previous episode that we were talking about. So in the original version, first dropped in Oz, Bandit burps. Apparently, is this contravened Disney's standards.
Right.
yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. Okay.
So, in the same categories as the other things they leave out, all the other jokes. And the
Horses
original
poop,
US
kids.
and the US version was changed to a sneeze.
Right.
She thinks it's utterly ridiculous. So do we.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And especially since she is a Reuben sandwich aficionado,
Nice.
which of course has the sauerkraut in it. So thank you very much.
You
And
know what you're doing, Jenny.
yeah, you really do. And yeah, thank you for writing in.
And last one for today's inbox. We've gone from a 75-year-old to a 10-year-old. This is incredible. The gamut of Bluey knows no bounds.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's like a puzzle. It's like one of those puzzles where it's like, 1 to 100 or whatever it is on the. It's just everyone.
Yeah. She is from a place in America I'm not going to mention, so Brendan can't talk about it.
Don't worry, I'll mention it in a second.
Damn it. Writing to ask you all a question. It's for all of you, but especially Brendan. Damn it. This is probably the hardest question I've ever had to ask, and I want you to help me decide. But I think it's probably going to break Brendan. Okay, you ready? Arnold Schwarzenegger or Indiana Jones?
I'm going to be on my best behavior, and
dear.
I'm going to throw it to these other gentlemen first and see if they're correct.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty open-ended question.
It is.
Are we talking about their political aspirations? In which case, you'd probably have to lean towards Arnie. Harrison Ford, God bless him, has turned into a bit of a grumpy old man these days. But if we're looking, always was. But if we're looking at their films, I mean,
Also the fact, what is it? Arnold Schwarzenegger and Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
oh, good point.
Yeah, one of those is a fictional character. and the
yeah,
other one
character
is
v.
the
actor.
The character.
Yeah.
Because Arnie's had a much broader spectrum in the
Sure.
obviously, than the character in the films.
I mean,
But-
Arnie's action hero, of course. That's probably his bread and butter. But let's be honest, he's also given birth. He's
Yep.
also
that's
been a man in an ice cold suit who gets around saying puns like "Eyes to meet you." Do you know what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. It's a terrible movie, but Arnie saves that movie hands down.
Look,
So it's Indiana Jones.
it's
It's
Yeah, I feel like if we didn't say that, Brenny's getting that ready.
It's getting that ready for
slappy
us.
slap. No, look, T2 is one of the greatest action movies of all time. It is so good.
That's very true.
Right? And so I normally, anybody else, there would be no question. Absolutely no question. But I get it. T2, Terminator, huge, amazing, great. But Indiana Jones. I mean, come on. But I will recognize that's me. That's my belief. That's my core. Indiana Jones is everything to my childhood. So for me, just right now, just this one guy, no question.
Frank, do you want to break this
I'm
open,
not-
or do you want to stick with it?
Look, I think it's an interesting question that Lillian has posed because they're probably the two most shouted out celebrities on this show.
Yeah.
that's true.
You know,
That's a
with
good point.
and this comes from
Yeah,
obviously a
that's
number
true.
of your
Yeah,
bare bones
yeah, that's right.
and there's lots of Indiana Jones references within Bluey itself, of course. So with questions like this, I always try to sit there and go, what would life be like if the other person's catalog didn't exist? Right? So if you could only have Harrison Ford, you've got all the wonderful things he's been a part of, but then you don't get the stuff Arnie's been a part of, or vice versa.
See, that's good. I accept this line of question. This line of philosophy.
You know, and Indiana Jones. I'm expanding it to Harrison Ford because to me, I can't separate the two.
I mean,
Yeah,
The
that's
Fugitive
right.
is a perfect movie.
Fugitive.
A
That's
perfect movie.
right? Han Solo, the only I will say the only actor to have ever played Han Solo because that other guy doesn't count.
I love how deep this is getting. We are opening cans of worms left, right, and center.
I think Arnie's great, but I think the world would be a lot poorer without Harrison Ford's catalogue of cinema.
God bless you, sir, and God bless you, Lily, for writing in. And Illinois is lovely. You say that you're from Illinois, which means you're probably from nowhere near Chicago, because if you were from near Chicago, you'd probably say Chicago, maybe. You might be from somewhere else in Illinois, but Illinois is great. I went to Chicago, did the whole... The Fugitive is set in Chicago. Yeah, okay. Save Ferris.
I will say, whenever I hear the word Illinois, I just think of Aurora, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago. Excellent.
Excellent.
And that's it. That's all our inbox.
Oh,
Oh,
fantastic.
it's empty.
We did it.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, thank you so much to everybody in our inbox. It's still, I know I might sound like a broken record, but I will not run out of gratitude for people reaching out, and please continue to do so at hammerbarnproject@gmail.com.
You know you're going to have to put that on the ending.
We're going to have to do it. One day it will just be there, and it will be magic, just like this episode was. And speaking of magic, so too is magic all the people involved. And ladies and gentlemen,
Tenuous segue at best, but I'll allow it.
and not using words grammar proper. So let me get those drums rolling for today's Credit Where Credit's Blue, if I can.
Let's do it.
If I can. Right. Someone who is indispensable, I'm sure, in the credits of this episode. Recording artist Liam Gould. Yes. Thank you very much, Liam.
Wow,
For
thanks,
everything
Liam.
you've done.
Wonderful.
Liam has been in the sound department on 8 episodes credited on the Bluey series as the recording engineer, recording engineer, the 5 episodes in the first season, and this is one of the second season episodes he was in, doing 3 of them, and I'm sure there'll be many more. Liam Gould, you are a part of this machine that we call Bluey that has enriched our lives. And enriched?
Good English.
Enriched.
Yeah.
Enriched. You have enriched our lives. Maybe some snappy editing around that part, so that
That's staying in.
so that I can. He's done it. So that I can more succinctly say, Liam, from all of us, thank you. Once again, Frank. I love you, bro.
Happy chappy.
I love that you love this episode, and I see why.
It's magic.
Do you feel satisfied?
I feel like, yes. I'm out of words.
You're out of words.
I've used them all.
Nah, and you
left
used them
on
all
Rug
so well,
Island.
my friend. Left them all on Rug Island. Well, let's leave all these happy memories and wonderful times of this podcast on Rug Island, and let's all head down to Hammerbarn together. Does that sound good?
I think that's a
I don't
great
know.
plan.
You got projects you need to do?
No, right.
You got projects you need to do?
Always.
Everybody's got projects you need, and you can find everything you need
Everything.
down aisle 300.
Left at the fake grass.
And if you hit a flamingo, you've gone too far.
Created and produced by Frank, Brendan and Marty. You can follow the Hammerbarn Project on facebook.com/HammerbarnProj, at HammerbarnProj on Twitter, or Hammerbarn_project on Instagram. Theme featuring Nibblings, Kaylee, Jade, Ashley and Reese, and PA announcements by brother-in-law, me, Josh. Thanks for listening, and remember to get down to Hammerbarn for cheap shovels.